This time, we're catching up with two couples
You've got smiley faces.
Yeah.
whose mixed house hunting experience
That's grand.
was matched with home-buying butterflies.
Do you want to live in a small tree house or a big mole hole?
Yeah.
You're making me blush.
So it was up to us to cocoon them.
You've done your job, I think.
Now it's time to see what's emerged.
To wake up to that every day is special.
It is.
Buying a home as a couple can be tricky when one of the pair has already been there and done it. This week, we're catching up with two such searches, with one couple looking for a country pile and the other one in the city. Sometimes it's all about mediation, mediation, mediation. Back in July 2014, we were roaming the hills and dales of Yorkshire, searching for a spacious home in the countryside for Graham and Anna. And in April 2013, we were in the capital, combing the streets for a piece of West London that events manager Carolyn and Paul, who works in eco-packaging, could call their own. And there was one very important requirement.
I absolutely want some outside space. I'm sick of putting my knickers on the radiator. They need to be hanging in the sunshine.
I so know what she means. They've got £330,000 to spend. Carolyn is a first-time buyer, but Paul has owned property before in his hometown of Sheffield. So London prices have come as a bit of a shock.
It's a lot of money to spend on two-bedroom flats. In Sheffield, you'd be looking at four-bedroom detached houses.
Paul is totally right. The difference in what you can get for your money between north and south of the country is absurd. So my challenge is to find something special enough to cheer up this sceptical Yorkshireman.
Do you think there's any differences between you in the way you look for a home?
I will go into a house, have a look round, really give it some time and thought, and Paul will stand outside and say, no, it's not right.
Do you think you'd be able to do anything yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not averse to decorating and
Paul,
changing
the shock
things
on your
and-
face. You look like I've just questioned your manhood.
Really?
I can knock down walls.
I can wallpaper and, yes.
And what have you seen so far?
We've seen several sort of two-bedroom places.
Well, we actually put an offer in on one place, but we lost it to a sealed bid. That was in Twickenham.
In Twickenham, okay.
Yeah, and that had the garden and the two bedrooms and everything we wanted. No.
Not only are you being tortured by London, contradicted by Sheffield, but you are also loved and lost.
With a budget of 330 grand, they want a spacious two-bedroom flat.
Paul wants curb appeal and storage for bikes and outdoor gear. And for Carolyn, private outdoor space to air her delicates. They both want to be close to public transport and green spaces, and they'd rather not be on a main road. Carolyn and Paul love Twickenham in West London. It's popular and pricey, so it may also be worth exploring neighbouring areas such as Teddington and St Margaret's. For our other search, we're in South and West Yorkshire, scouring around Thurleston and Flockton. Newlyweds, forensic anthropologist Anna and IT manager Graham recently relocated from Oxfordshire.
We thought it's going to be a lot cheaper, money would go a lot further.
So we had visions of the beautiful barn on the moors that we could get for cheap as chips.
But with a £250,000 budget, they now realise that many properties up here are off the menu.
We've been looking for a house for about 8 months now. I think we visited 50 houses and we are really, really fed up.
I think we're incredibly fussy.
Very fussy.
Yeah.
Not only have their dreams been shattered by the reality of the Yorkshire market, they also lack confidence.
2 cream teas.
Graham lost money on a place he owned a few years ago, and Anna is a nervous first-time buyer. So currently they're renting, but ready to take the plunge.
I'm very scared. I have palpitations about having a mortgage.
They're looking to take on a large property with enough space to fully indulge in their hobbies. With Anna, it's all about collecting crockery and baking.
Whilst Graham wants a room for his model making, and still more space is needed outdoors to keep their dog, Lucky, barking up the right tree.
I want the big house. I would like a big garage, big man cave, big office area. It'd be nice working from home.
They've got an eye on rural areas in the south and west of the county, close to the Peak District. But with a limited budget for this area, they're wanting to have their cake and eat it.
I want to help them get that idyllic Yorkshire life they've been dreaming of. But first of all, there are some issues of focus and nervousness to fettle.
What do you think is at the heart of that, nerves?
I am incredibly risk averse, and this is all my savings going into the deposit. That scares me. That doesn't leave me with the safety buffer that I'm used to.
I dread the day when someone rings me up and says the house that you advised me to buy is worth less, has fallen into the ground. And touch wood, so far, that hasn't happened. There is a degree of trust.
Well, I certainly feel that I need someone to take me by the hand through this process.
What are your top 3 I can't live without?
It's got to have a lot of space. Off-road parking is an absolute must for me, and it's got to have the broadband.
It's got to look good, nice area,
Yes.
countryside.
Right.
Altogether, a very ambitious wish list for the money. They're making me nervous now.
With a maximum spend of £250,000, they want a minimum of 3 big bedrooms to incorporate a big office. Graham wants a big kitchen and a big garden. Spot the theme?
For Anna, it's all about curb appeal and countryside. And in principle, they don't mind a bit of a project. We're kicking off in Thurleston, a lovely little village on the edge of the peaks. With rolling hills and reservoirs, it's perfect dog-walking country. The house I'm going to show them offers a safe option for Anna with her mortgage phobia, as it's significantly under budget, yet on paper delivers pretty much all of their criteria. I'm feeling quietly confident.
The look of somewhere is important, isn't it?
I quite like it.
I quite like the porch. I like
Yeah.
the colour of the door. Yeah.
I'm a little bit worried by the size. It looks a bit small.
Right. But you're happy to go in and have a look?
Yeah, keen.
Brilliant.
Yep.
Keen. Oh, keen, that's what I like.
I want to work out exactly what these two mean when they say small. One man's pile might be another man's potting shed.
This place has a lovely kitchen diner and sitting room that opens directly onto the garden. It is on 2 levels, but still perfectly usable. Upstairs, there are 2 double bedrooms and a huge attic room for work and hobbies. It's in great nick, and best of all, a substantial 75 grand under budget at £174,950.
Nice. Nice kitchen.
Very big kitchen. Now, this is another big room. They've got a wood-burning stove in there.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
a
just wondering
little
if
bit small
we could
for our-
fit all of our furniture in here. We'll probably get sofas
You
in.
might not have to fit all of your furniture in here.
Okay.
Because if this room isn't big enough, I've got a bigger one at the top of the house.
Ah.
Wow.
I could
This
have
could
an
be our
office here.
study. You could have one side, I could have one side.
Yeah. It's essentially, as far as I'm concerned, from your perspective, a 2-reception room house.
How much does it cost?
£175,000.
Right. Okay.
We don't have to make that scary leap.
No, it's got compromises. You'll find the compromises are not in the bedrooms.
Ooh.
You might not think there's compromise in the bedrooms, Kirsty, but with these 2 we know bigger is better.
Like the floor.
Yeah. I'd say it could do with being a little bit bigger, I think.
Yeah, I think ideally we'd like an ensuite, wouldn't we?
Don't think they're going to go for it. I think they can't see the relationship between the compromises and the fact that this is £75,000 less than their budget. For me, it's a no-brainer. For them, I think they want more.
I don't know if it's got a lot of space for us to grow into. Like,
Oh, I think we'd fill it straight away.
yeah. And then if we got a bigger dog.
If there's a dog too big for this place, I'd hate to meet it.
Final thoughts?
Don't think there'd be enough room.
I think
lounge.
we'd just fill this house immediately.
Even get rid of some
What
stuff.
with? Because you're not going to fill it with you and the dog.
All our junk.
If it's junk, why are you putting it somewhere? Because this is a 2-bedroom house with an office, so it's effectively a 5-roomed house. And it's on £175,000. So that's £35,000 per room. Mm-hmm. Now, if even one of those rooms is for storage,
That's fiscal insanity.
If this place is not big enough for them, I think we can safely say this is not going to be an easy journey.
Want my advice? When in Yorkshire, run for the hills.
We're back visiting two couples where one half had bought before and the other was brand new to house hunting. In 2014, size was an issue for Graham and Anna in Kirsty's first property in South Yorkshire.
I don't know if it's got a lot of space for us to grow into.
Oh, I think we'd fill it straight away.
And in 2013, Carolyn and Paul were desperate to say goodbye to renting and hello to their own pad in West London.
I absolutely want some outside space. I'm sick of putting my knickers on the radiator.
For their £330,000 budget, the couple want a two-bedroom flat with outside space in their favourite area, Twickenham. But prices in this beautiful borough are high. As we search, the average flat here costs £376,000, nearly 50 grand more than Carolyn and Paul have to spend.
Having said that, I'm pretty chuffed with our first flat. It's in Teddington. Not top of their list, but that's the compromise. They get most of what they want in a smart location, and their money goes a little bit further.
First impressions of the building?
It's cute.
Cute as a button. And slightly scruffy. It's a deceased estate.
Yeah.
You're doing a lovely job of selling this.
No, I
almost bought it myself.
My job, Phil, is not to sell property. My job is to find property. You know that, you naughty monkey. When I see a straightforward goodbye, it makes me happy.
And let's face it, when Kirsty's happy, we're all happy. Internally, this ground floor flat is exactly what they've asked for. 2 double bedrooms, large living room, kitchen and conservatory on the side.
Carolyn wanted outside space to hang out clothes to dry, and this place does deliver that. But the garden is shared, so she might feel a bit bashful about her briefs on the line. But the garage could be perfect for Paul, who wants storage for his outdoor gear and bikes. The icing on the cake is that this place is on at £315,000, 15 grand under budget.
First impressions?
I like the fireplace.
Fireplace,
Yeah,
you could do
good.
anything you want with a fireplace.
Yeah.
Decent amount of space.
This flat is very big.
Yeah.
But at the moment, its layout does not make the best use of that space.
Okay.
Right. People are being confused by the layout.
Yeah.
And you've got the space
Yeah.
to do with what you need to do.
Yeah.
It's just how you would arrange it.
We think it's all about this room and how best to use it in relation to the garden. The shared garden, that is.
And then out the back, we have all this.
Brilliant. Yeah. It's a garden.
It is shared with
Yeah, I
the
saw that,
upper floor flat.
I wanted private, definitely private, because if they're sharing my garden, they will see my knickers on the line. Would they? Would
They'd
they
get quite
mind?
used to them, wouldn't they?
Well, they would. Would they be exposed to them quite a lot? Yeah.
Well, you're making me blush.
So it seems if the neighbours don't mind, then Carolyn definitely doesn't.
Hard at work, are you? Tweeting away?
No, I'm not
like a
tweeting
little
away.
cherub?
I'm not tweeting away. I think this should be the bathroom.
What?
It's already got the boiler in it. Wouldn't it be a lovely bathroom?
Well, it would, but it's the one that has the view of the garden.
I know, but...
I think it should have glass doors right across the back.
And be the kitchen.
Yeah, open plan kitchen.
It's basically a template, so it's going through all the different options and work out what the best would be for us.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
They would rather not be in Teddington, but they also, I think, appreciate that being in Teddington, you can show them places like this.
What's wrong with Teddington?
Nothing's wrong with Teddington, it's just not Twickenham.
Yeah, I know, but, you know, you're not Tom Cruise. I get on with it.
Ever the martyr, dearest.
Well, there you have it, the first one.
Yeah.
How does it strike you?
Much bigger than I thought we could get, so that's a big tick.
Nice, bright and airy flat. It's got a lot of potential.
Can I just get your sort of thoughts on Teddington?
I'd like to compare it to something Twickenham. Yeah.
Damn that location! Why are people so obsessed with it?
Just to hear...
To tempt this pair away from Twickenham, it's going to have to be something really special. Back in Yorkshire, Graham and Anna felt the Thurlston property's proportions were a bit too petite. So for her second roll of the dice, Kirsty's brought them to the village of Flockton, a bit further away from the peaks, but closer to Anna's work and surrounded by rolling fields to keep their beloved pooch happy. They've said they want more space for their hobbies, and this house delivers it, but at a price. It costs 75 grand more than the previous property.
So we're surrounded by dog walking.
Lovely.
And we're looking at this house.
It looks nice.
Looks very similar to the last house.
Very similar.
It is bigger than the last house by quite a lot. Right, should we get in?
Let's go in. Yep.
Right.
So far, so good. But I think it's the roomy inside that will really sell this place. There's a large sitting room, huge country-style kitchen diner, 3 bedrooms on the first floor and a 4th in the attic, which they could use as their office. I really can't see space being an issue this time around.
There's also a very useful cellar and a large garden for Lucky the dog. To get all this, we've had to take them to the very top of their budget. This place is on the market at offers in the region of £249,995.
Oh, look at the kitchen.
Nice.
It's looking good so far.
So far, no negatives have been raised, and if they think the bedrooms deliver, this place could be a strong contender.
Oh, that's a good size.
Oh.
That's a
Nice
big bedroom.
and big.
The 3 bedrooms are all a decent size and the loft, surely a lovely bonus.
Oh,
OK.
it's a little bit smaller than I was expecting.
Yes, it is. With no views.
No. This is a bit of a disappointment.
They seem to like everything but the loft. Now, it looks like they're put off completely.
Oh, you're looking disappointed.
Does it show on my face?
It does show on your face. What went wrong?
It was all great until we reached the office, I
Well,
suppose
the
you'd call
loft
it.
room, and it was just tiny.
You couldn't have one of the other bedrooms as the office.
Well, we could, then the loft room would be the spare room.
I would certainly like a bigger house.
Right.
I would probably sacrifice how rural this is, be a bit more semi-rural.
So that's a possible compromise on location in order to get more space. Onwards and upwards. Back in the capital with Carolyn and Paul, pushing out their search area could also reap rewards with a very different second property in St Margaret's.
It's not Twickenham, but it's as close as their current budget will allow and they like the area. It sits near to the River Thames with independent shops and fast transport links into the city. Paul's got a reputation for walking away from ugly buildings without even looking inside, so I have to say I'm a tad apprehensive.
Here's a question. How often do you stand on the street looking at your home?
Not very often.
Not very often, which is why we are going to see a flat in this building. Does the look of the house fill you with horror?
It doesn't fill me with horror. I mean, it's not the most appealing property that I've seen.
Well, at least Paul hasn't done a runner, which is a huge relief, because I think once you're inside, this is a cracking property.
Arranged over 2 levels, the living room and kitchen are on the ground floor, and on the first floor, 2 double bedrooms and the bathroom.
Marketed at just under £330,000, it's bang on budget. The vendor has already had an offer for £319, but is waiting to see if anything higher comes in.
I like this open bit. I mean, I know it's a bit sad on a rainy day,
Oh,
but...
I see washing lines.
Yes. Oh, yes, there are. There's public washing lines, which you could use,
Yeah.
but you don't have to because you have a space for your own washing line. Right, in you come. So, we've got kitchen, all mod cons, straight into your sitting room. Little balcony, room to very privately hang knickers there.
Yeah.
I know Paul was interested in proving himself with a bit of DIY.
No walls
Is
knocking down.
Is this a bit done for you, Paul?
No, it's fine. I mean, if the location's right,
Yeah.
and it's in good condition, then
You're happy?
that's fine. If it's cosmetic work.
So, Carolyn, Kitchione. What's your feeling on this flat?
I think it feels quite grown up because obviously it has stairs, so it's, you know, it feels like a house.
It does feel like a house.
Yeah, and yeah, I like it. It has got, it's really airy. I didn't think it was going to be this light and airy outside, and it's, you know, it's proved me wrong.
As I always say, you can't view a flat on a flat screen.
Is this the master?
Yeah.
This is a turn up for the books. They genuinely wouldn't have come to see this flat before now. So I think they feel that there's new possibilities opening up.
Big enough for the king-size bed?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, hello.
Hello, boys and girls.
Hello.
What are we thinking?
We've got smiling faces.
Yeah, I'm very pleasantly surprised. Apart from the initial sort of visual perception of it,
It's ticked all
sort of
boxes.
ticks everything.
Wow, surprised. No, not surprised. Not surprised because I think it's very strong.
I think there's a good chance they might go for this place, but not before we've exhausted the possibility of finding a flat in their beloved Twickenham.
In Yorkshire with Graham and Anna, nothing they've seen so far has offered the space they want. With over 50 viewings under their belts, it's time to shake things up.
So, do you trust me?
Implicitly.
Absolutely.
Glad to hear it.
Yes, I'm changing my approach. The first two properties we saw were in plum areas, but Graham and Anna felt they were too small. Our next house is in Stocksbridge, and to be honest, it's a bit of a risk. It's not necessarily the location they were looking for, but they wanted a supersized house, and we found one.
So it's a semi. This is the garden. This all comes with the house.
I think it's gorgeous. I think it's
I
farmhousey.
Really like the
cute.
look of that.
Anna and Graham would need to take a bravery pill, as this place requires guts. It's a big project, but it could be amazing, and it's over twice the size of the places we've seen so far.
It's currently split into two separate flats, so room configurations require a bit of imagination. On the ground floor, there's a large living room, a kitchen, a dining room and a bathroom. Whilst upstairs, there are 3 big bedrooms and another kitchen. The garden is charming, and there are various outbuildings for hobby stuff and storage. But what about its position?
Didn't like the area very much.
It's not a rough area. It's just not such a sort of market area. It stands to reason, isn't it? It's 450 grand's worth of house, and it's 250 grand.
Yeah.
It's right at the top of their budget, but we've heard there's a deal to be done, which is lucky because that extra cash will have to pay for the work.
Here you have your drawing room.
Ooh. That's grand.
Every room has a project. Every part of the house has something you have to do to it.
I love it. I love it.
Big enough?
But plenty of places to store things.
There's massive. Yes, I do not want you to buy this house and just store a whole lot of junk in it. This is your suite.
Yeah.
So you have bathroom, dressing room, master bed. Weirdly, I think you would have this as a study.
Library type thing with
Library type study room.
big old desk with the green leather.
And the opening globe with the drinks inside, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot to think about. Do you want me to leave you to wander around?
Yes, please.
Okie dokie.
I think Anna's actually starting to picture herself here. Who'd have thought it?
So, one day along comes a client who's super risk averse, and you decide to show them a really big property which could be a massive money pit. And then blow me down with a feather. They love it. They're not frightened by it. There is no predicting it.
Isn't it lovely and light and airy?
Yeah, just gorgeous.
Ah, the sweet sound of happy house hunters in their natural surroundings.
What do you think?
You've done your job, I think.
It's a life's work. You'd be in there day in, day out. You'd never have another foreign holiday. You'd be freezing cold for the first 18 months. I personally wouldn't let that worry me. But I am just looking at you particularly, the one that is risk averse.
Yeah. We need to let, our hearts cool down a bit and think about it with our heads for a bit.
Take a deep breath.
I'm thrilled that they can see the potential. I feel like rolling up my sleeves and getting started on that kitchen right now.
I think the current owners might have something to say about that. Plus, Graham and Anna need to sit down and think about whether they have the stamina for a project this size.
We're back catching up with two searches where one partner had bought before and the other was a home-buying beginner. In 2014, risk-averse Anna and Graham had found that space was a real deal-breaker until their heads were turned by a very big project indeed.
Isn't it lovely and light and airy?
And in 2013, Carolyn and Paul weren't quite ready to kiss goodbye to their dream of buying in their beloved Twickenham.
Compare it to something Twickenham.
Yeah.
Damn that location! A new day and Carolyn and Paul have been looking at their finances. They're happy to stump up another £5,000 if it means living in Twickenham. And we've found the only available property within their price range.
This is a basement flat, but could we be in a better location?
You absolutely couldn't. It's beautiful. Perfect.
OK. Will you hold on to that?
I will.
In its current state, it's not the cosiest flat in the world, but it is spacious, the 2 bedrooms are doubles, the kitchen has room for a table, and the living room is a decent size.
At £345,000, it is 10 grand over their new raised budget, but we've heard that 330 would secure it. Buying this flat would use up all of their money, leaving them without a renovation fund.
So what you have here is a huge front room. The difference between this flat and the first flat is that this flat is a similar size. It's also a big flat.
Yeah.
It's in a better location, but you really can't change the layout of this flat.
For that amount of money, I want every box ticked.
I mean, this is the first time I've actually ever been in a basement flat.
Is it?
It does kind of feel a bit oppressive.
We wouldn't have the money to be able to update
Yeah, I think
anything.
that would be the biggest concern.
That's right.
Is the fact that it's already over budget. Number 2 property was you know, I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
How good it was.
My feeling is that this is a really, really nice street. It's absolutely beautiful. But do you want to live in a small tree house or a big mole hole? I would always pick a small tree house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in plain English, that's a no to Twickenham.
In Yorkshire, with Graham and Anna, there was a turn-up for the books when super cautious Anna fell head over heels for the big project property in Stocksbridge. Priced at the top of their £250,000 budget and with significant modernisation required, we've come back for a second look.
One of their main concerns was the cost of doing all the work.
Lift up the carpet, sand the floors, paint the walls, take off the wallpaper.
Put a wood burner in. We're going to need to put central heating in, so we need to know that. Rough costs of rewiring, I think.
Taking on a project of this size is a big commitment, so it's always wise to think these costs through. Make a list of work required and get ballpark quotes to help decide what is feasible and affordable. Back down south with Carolyn and Paul, having ruled out the basement flat in their top area, Twickenham, they opted to return to the split-level flat in St Margaret's. On at just under £330,000, it had plenty to offer.
So, Paul.
Yep.
We spent a lot of time focused on Carolyn's desire to get her knickers dried privately.
Yep.
But your storage, I feel, has been ignored.
It has.
In here, each flat has their own individual storage units.
Right, OK.
And the one for your flat is here at the end. So you've got the light from the window.
Right, wow.
Now, you could fit a lot in there. OK, guys, it's all yours. Have an explore. We're back in.
On their first visit, Carolyn and Paul were pleasantly surprised by this flat, and now it seems they're picturing themselves living here.
If you had a little table and like bistro table and chairs out here.
They want it, but then so does someone else. Question is, can I get it for them? The St Margaret's flat is on at £330,000, but with an offer of £319 already on the table, we're going to have to better that. They've already loved and lost in the past, and this time I want to make sure they don't miss out. But what price do we start at?
I mean, 323 will be our sort of maximum if we think that 322 is.
I think let's 322 it and absolutely cross our fingers and stick to our guns.
Hello? Jay, it's Kirsty. What do you think your client would feel about putting an extra £3,000 between 319 and 322? Right, because he's very keen on the circumstances of the other people. Okie doke, I'm going to discuss that with my clients and I'm going to get back to you. Okay, thanks, Jay. Okay, bye. The people who are interested in buying the property, their advantage over you is there's no mortgage involved. The dreaded scenario is 319 coming back.
With a counter offer,
Yes, that is the dreaded scenario.
Yeah.
Up against a cash buyer, getting into a bidding war would put Carolyn and Paul at a significant disadvantage. Their best bet may be going to best and final offers.
Oh, that's Jay. Yes. Yeah. Great. That's fantastic. Jay, you have been amazing. Bye. Very straight. He said, my client wants to be completely fair, absolutely best and final offers by midday tomorrow. We must get all our ducks in a row.
The following day, having submitted a sealed bid of £322,000, stress levels have reached the max for Carolyn and Paul.
Ooh. Hello, Kirsty.
Hello. Hi.
Hiya.
I have been dreading this call since yesterday.
So have we.
I am very pleased to tell you that you did win.
Brilliant.
Oh my God, that's brilliant. Thank you. Thank you, Kirsty. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Secured for £322,000, it's all come out in the wash. In Yorkshire with Graham and Anna, after 8 months of searching for the holy grail of properties, it's beginning to look like the Stocksbridge project could be a contender for this risk-averse pair.
The garden is spectacular, the house is spectacular, and in 6 years' time, there's going to be one evening when you're going to look at each other and go, it's done.
I think in order to have the motivation to do the project, you've got to really love it and really have the vision.
You've got to really love it.
And that number 3 is the only one that's come close to me wanting to even pick up a paintbrush, really.
The vendor would probably accept 230, but there is another interested party who the agent believes is on the verge of offering about 225.
I wouldn't want to go over 220. I certainly would max out at 230. Dare I say, and you can hit me if you like, dare I say I thought it may be even a little bit too big.
I'm not going to make any...
And I was a little bit worried about things like running costs.
Yeah.
It's not in our ideal location, but
So,
you didn't notice
so
anything.
you're not passionate about it?
I'm not passionate about it, no. But
Okay.
I
wouldn't
would
even-
probably enjoy living there.
I would not even consider going into that house unless you were both passionate about it.
I'm just going to cry. I just fell in love with that house.
I don't feel we're entirely done with this house. I think you two do have a lot to talk about.
After lots of soul-searching, Graham and Anna decided not to put an offer in on the project, and their house hunt continued. 8 years later, there's been a few twists and turns along the way.
We were holding out for the right property.
We saw many properties, but yeah, we certainly held out for the right one that eventually came along.
A few months after their search with Kirsty, and having viewed over a whopping 50 properties, Graham and Anna eventually found their own little patch of Yorkshire.
On our search with Kirsty, the properties we saw clarified, I think, what we really wanted. So the property we eventually went for, it was an old coach house built in 1792, I believe, and converted back in the 1970s.
It had beams, it had beautiful Georgian windows that looked out onto a lovely garden. We just loved it.
Yeah.
Having upped their budget from their original $250,000, they were able to secure the coach house for $298,000 and spent the next 6 years making it their own.
When we first moved into the coach house, it was in need of some updating.
It had lots of dark wood panelling all the way round it. The hall had a sort of pub carpet, dark green with fleur-de-lis on it. Wasn't really our taste.
And all the walls were
Artex.
Artex.
Having finally found the right house, they weren't afraid to get stuck into the renovations. As well as replastering and redecorating, they tackled damp patches, replaced the boiler and radiators, opened up and redid the hallway with a new staircase, and replaced the roof.
I went on a plastering course and plastered the hall myself, which was interesting. It had some shapes there.
We took our time over it, and the renovations took many years. But yeah, we thought that those were the important things: the central heating, the boiler, the roof, and we thought that that would add value to the house.
Yeah.
That savviness paid off 6 years later, when a change of job for Anna meant that the pair found themselves house hunting again.
Now we're in Lancashire, just north of Preston, and we have bought a house that's only 15 years old. It's got character, but not the same kind of character. And
space.
Yeah,
it has the space.
Having sold the coach house for a little over $406,000, the couple were able to spend just over $460,000 on their new home. A 4-bed detached property with ample space for all their hobbies. With one home and renovation behind them, it seems that second time around their house buying nerves were banished.
I guess it sort of crept up on us, this one, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was sort of, we just came along and said, well, it looks quite nice, let's go and have a look. And I think we were both surprised that we liked it.
Yeah, basically it was a practical decision, but we also got a good feeling when we walked in.
Yeah.
You know, it's very light, it's south-facing, it's got a big kitchen, the conservatory is really lovely in the sun. The offices are really useful and lovely.
Fit all our hobbies and equipment in.
Sadly, about 2 years after moving into the coach house, the couple's beloved dog Lucky passed away.
And it took us a long time to get over that, and we just couldn't have another dog straight away. It just didn't feel right. But then when we moved here, I think we both thought it really did demand a dog again, and we were ready.
Yeah, new life, new house, new dog.
New dog.
Bernese mountain retriever cross Toby has been the perfect addition to their family.
And having him definitely makes this house a home.
Long term, they have plans to do up the garden and knock down the wall between the kitchen and dining room. But in the meantime, without time-consuming renovations to complete, the couple have been able to enjoy the space and lifestyle offered by their new home.
We're really happy here. We're maybe a bit surprised at how happy we are. I'm really enjoying my job. I love it at the University of Central Lancashire and feeling fulfilled in that part of my life. We really like this village. We're getting to know some of the locals.
The local village quiz every month, we go along to that.
Yeah, we're giving them a run for their money.
Yeah, really enjoy that.
Yeah, we just feel like we've landed on our feet.
Yeah, we think it's a well-kept secret, Lancashire.
Landed on their feet they certainly have, and credit to them, with 2 smart moves paving the way to their perfect pad. When we last saw Carolyn and Paul, they were celebrating having their offer accepted on the St Margaret's flat. Since then, they've had rather a lot going on too, and I can't wait to find out more. When we last saw Carolyn and Paul, they'd bitten the bullet and bought in the capital. But now, almost 10 years later, we're a long way from West London, and I'm keen to see how they've shifted from city to country living. 2 years ago, Carolyn and Paul found themselves yearning for a little extra space, and boy, did they get it. They've swapped the hustle and bustle of St Margaret's for the tranquility of the Peak District. Hello. Good morning.
Come in.
And it's not just a change of location. They've supersized their living space, going from a 2-bed flat with balcony to a detached house with 3 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, an office, double garage and garden.
So it has been 9 or 10 years, hasn't it?
I know.
Since the flat in St Margaret's.
Yeah.
Which I never saw, of course.
Nice flat, didn't have to do much to it. And we settled in straight away.
Yeah, and loved it. Loved the area. So, yeah, Kirsty helped us buy that, which we were very thankful for.
Yeah.
After 7 happy years in their flat, Paul and Carolyn started to think about upgrading to somewhere with a garden. But a move out of London wasn't in their sight until lockdown opened up new avenues.
So it gave me the ability to permanently work from home.
Yes.
Which then we were able to kind of live anywhere.
Did that happen quite suddenly?
We actually thought, right, we'll just test putting the house up for sale. And it went within about 72 hours.
Okay.
So then we're like, eek, we've got to find somewhere to live. So we came back up here and had a viewing of a few houses, and this is the one we settled on.
Close to Paul's grown-up daughter, and with wonderful green space on the doorstep, it's easy to see why they chose this area. Falling for this house, however, required vision and bravery.
It was very Marmite, because the decor, you know, you have to, of course, see past that, but because it's quite quirky, the layout is quite quirky.
We got very excited about this place, didn't we?
Yeah.
From gloomy and dated to bright and contemporary, the house has been transformed. As well as redecorating throughout, they've changed the roof and rejigged the layout.
What was it like when you bought it?
So it's an 80s house, so it was very, very dark, brick everywhere. Like, this was all dark. It was very kind of gloomy, not to our taste, so it was very magnolia and mustardy everywhere.
So the work didn't faze you?
I had a lot of free time as well when we moved in here because it was lockdown. I'm an event manager. There was no events on.
Yes.
So I learned to decorate. So don't look too close.
The original utility space in the kitchen has become a dining area. And with the ability to work from home playing such a key part in their move, creating office space was top priority.
So this used to be a breakfast room. Next to the kitchen, there used to be an archway here.
Right.
So we've then converted this to a home office where we can both work.
Is that done now? Is it finished?
We're nearly there. We've got the top garden area that we're in the process of renovating. Once that's done, hopefully we can have a bit of a rest from it.
With the work almost out of the way, the couple can look forward to enjoying their free time in the countryside.
Yeah, so we've got space here now where I've been able to get a motorbike, go around the Peak District,
I love it.
and get everything together in one space instead of families, lofts and...
I love it. Well done, you.
Thank you.
As well as discovering her decorating skills, Carolyn's also found her green fingers.
What a magnificent view. To wake up to that every day is special.
It is. Gardening is my new happy place.
Are you growing things like flowers and veg?
Well, we've got flowers at the moment, and even though the patch I've got is relatively small, it's quite demanding, but it was a jungle, an absolute jungle when I moved here. Like, I didn't know what to do with myself. And then next year, we're going to have a vegetable patch.
Really nice. It's panned out brilliantly.
It really has. I definitely don't regret it. It was a big, big move, but yes, I'm absolutely in love with the place.
And with room for a washing line?
Room for the washing line,
Always
yes.
important.
Absolutely, always important, yes. I have my own washing line now. Yeah, get me.
With all this extra space and the countryside on their doorstep, Carolyn has been able to fulfill another long-held dream.
So this is Lily.
Yes.
Hello.
Lily.
Is Lily very special?
She is indeed. She's a delight.
Because you really wanted a dog, and now you've got a playground to go and walk over.
Massive playground, haven't we, Lily?
And Lily's not the only new addition. Living just 30 minutes away are Paul's daughter Holly and grandson Henry, who are regular visitors.
Yeah, he's become a granddad
Really?
since we moved out.
Yes, I'm a granddad now, yeah.
No comment.
Yeah, I don't feel old at all.
7 years after they bought it, they sold the flat for £435,000, giving over 100 grand profit. They got all the extra space here for just 40 grand more at 475,000. So you put another 40 grand on the value of a 2-bedroom flat in St Margaret's, and you've ended up with this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Incredible. Totally incredible. And totally inspiring.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well, I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased that it's panned out as well as it has done.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you very
Really
much.
lovely to come and see that you've completely nailed it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's great to see Carolyn and Paul having climbed up the ladder for more space and out of the city and now living in this spectacular spot. And Anna and Graham are also on their second property, having made a handsome profit on their first. They're now loving life and the peace and tranquility of the Lancashire countryside. Both couples, cautious to begin with, learnt that if you can see past initial imperfections,